Welcome to Like Pigs in Space, an arts and culture podcast. I'm Aaron Mason.
And I'm Max Mason.
It's another week.
It is.
Got through a couple of weeks of book reports, and I've been thinking I probably need to step up and get back to reading how I used to. So it was good inspiration.
Yeah,
So-
I was doing the math earlier this year. That was like, if I read like 50 pages, which is kind of a lot, but it's not too bad to try and do in a day. If I do that much and then I divided it by like 300, which I think was like a good average book length, covers some, shorter and longer ones, it would be like 60 books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so,
That could be good,
yeah.
unless you get into some long ones.
Yeah.
Maybe you could read Les Miserables.
Yeah. That's what Chloe's brother and his wife went to see Les Mis.
Oh,
And afterwards he bought her the book, like the actual book, and it's thick as all can be.
it's thick, and sometimes the one that you get that's the thick one isn't the full one.
Really?
It's still an abridgment. Yeah. The one they use in school is thick, but it's not the full book.
Still abridged.
It's still an abridgment. So
Isn't like half of it talking about sewers or
yeah, probably. Well, you got to get down into it.
yeah. When we were at Powell's, I was getting a few things, and I got the next Dark Tower book, and I think if it's not the longest one, it's I think the second longest one.
Yeah,
Because
that
it
could
was
be
900 pages or so. So that's going to be a big portion of my year.
Yeah, they like I said, they go pretty fast. Let's see, the novel itself, because it says the novel is divided into 5 volumes for a total of 48 books and 365 chapters,
Jeez.
and has 655,000 words. I mean, one of the longest ever written. So
That's too much.
so it's a lot of discussion. So yeah, I can, it's just funny. It's funny how it is.
That's funny. Even if you try to do a chapter a day, it'll still take you a whole year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I follow him and his wife on Goodreads, and he started reading the I think the first Brandon Sanderson book.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's like 1,000 pages. And
yeah. There was we used to watch the Ghost Hunters or whatever.
oh yeah.
And the guy was writing a book.
Oh yeah.
And one of the guys and he was 9,000 pages in. I'm like, that's not one book, dude.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
I think most authors in their whole life don't write 9,000 pages.
Right. Well, so we're gonna I guess this is kind of like a book report as well.
Yes.
And is what I'm going to talk about, because the work I'm talking about has over 1,000 pieces of literature in it. So, and so the person, that's kind of an interesting claim. In one book, there's that much.
Right.
A lot of it's poetry, so we can't. It's about 800 poems in it, but it's all kinds of different literature. So it's kind of an interesting, probably where my love of reading started. This piece of literature I'm going to talk about helped with that. So I guess I'll start to talk about the person. So
Sounds good.
there's a lady, her name is May Hill Arbuthnot, and she was an educator, and she was born in 1884, did her education, went to the University of Chicago, went to Columbia University, and did all kinds of teaching in grade school, then kind of went into, from being a teacher, she went into like overseeing teachers. And then she went on to teach children's literature at the University of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
So it's a long history, or quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And in that, her effort was to make sure that people knew the value of children's literature, and that there was stuff for them to study when they. Yeah, I think we were talking about before, one of the poetry books that you liked and I like a lot is called America, and I can't remember what after the colon what it says, but but it's basically it's mid-century poetry, mid-century modern era. So 30s to the 60s, let's say. And I found it one time. Somebody borrowed it and went to New Orleans and never came back.
Uh-oh.
And so I had to find it again. Back in the days when you could find books, you can still find books, but find books on Amazon, because that was primarily what it was for.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And used books and stuff were networked together through Amazon. So I found it again and bought it, have it in a box somewhere, but found out it was a textbook. And, and so I'm always impressed when the textbooks that are actually standalone good collections.
Right. Yeah.
And you have all these other collections people try and put together that maybe fall short because there's some different bias in how it's put together. And it's always when it's a collection or an anthology, it's always about the bias of the group putting it together. And so
what they think is worthy of inclusion.
Yeah. And if you don't see things the way they see them, then maybe it's not the anthology for you. Right.
Yeah.
So this May Hill Arbuthnot was trying to raise the awareness of children's literature, was teaching about it. What's interesting is that she worked with another in 1947. She had a contribution to children's literacy, which was Basic Reader Series, that she worked on with a guy named William S. Gray, who was also at the University of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
What was interesting is that Basic Reader Series was where the Dick and Jane series came from.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's kind of funny in what we were talking about Dick and Jane and vampires, and so it's I got and actually, in all honesty, I just realized something that you probably don't know yet is that actually ties it all into the Dark Tower series. So,
yeah.
Not to give any spoilers away, but there might be vampires.
Okay.
Somewhere. It's not the only thing. It's not, but there is. There might be at some point. So that's kind of funny. And you read Frankenstein,
right?
So there's monsters.
Yeah. It's funny how, like, going into, now that we've done a couple of episodes, preparing for new episodes, it just feels, I don't know if it just means that I'm kind of caught in a circle, but it feels like everything is related to each other.
Yeah. I guess the argument could be that it's what you like. And so you subconsciously look for what you like in things, so they probably tie back together somehow, or
well, like, and even things that you talk about end up being related to, and then probably because we're related. But.
Yeah, what's even funnier about that is that I don't think about that when I'm preparing. I'm not like, I'm going to bring this in because it ties in. It's only while we're talking about it that it usually comes up. So that's the other. So there is a lot of subconscious stuff going on there. So I think I want to kind of get into this because there's a lot to cover. But
okay,
this book is called The Arbuthnot Anthology of Children's Literature. And it's a textbook, or it was meant to be a textbook, but it's also just a well-loved anthology. And there's they had done separate books, separate anthologies, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's time for poetry, time for old magic, time for new magic, time for stories of the past and present, time for biography, and time for discovery information. So there, you can see they're topically broken up.
Yeah.
This is an abridgment of all those 6 books put together. And so some things are here, some things may have been left out. They showed some preference to different items, but
Yeah.
this covers all those areas of children's literature.
Nice.
And
So what does it mean by old or new magic? Is it just like old fairy tales?
So yeah,
old?
so old magic would be folk tales and fables, and new magic would be like modern fantasy, modern fiction, type of, modern adventure.
Yeah.
And then the stories of the past and present would be kind of historical fiction, I believe. Kind of more of that, and it does kind of say, because it has animal stories, modern realistic fiction in the United States and other countries. So is the stories of the past and present. So there's a few versions of this book. It says it's the first copyright is 1961. This this version and some of the other collections, the time for poetry goes back to 1952. So I'd say 1952 is roughly when the whole thing started, but the anthology was in 61, and then this version is from 1971.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
Which means I've had this book around my whole life.
Yeah.
Is what that means. And as far as I can remember, it was always in our house. As I've been revisiting it, I realize that it a lot of interesting things were kind of constants. We got read to out of this book a lot. So I will tell you that the poetry section, and so it's broken up into sections. I think there's 5 sections in this one, although there's 6 books. Some of them are condensed together. And so basically it's poetry is part 1. Part 2 is time for magic, old and new. So it does the old and new section of all the literature, fiction.
Yeah. Okay.
Part 3 is time for realism. So facts and fiction. So it's going to be real life dramatizations, let's say, so that it's going to be real events that they've written about or more realistic, not fantasy. And then also historical fiction and biographies are all in there. So that combined like 3 different books.
Yeah.
And the other 2 sections, 4 is basically essays on children's literature.
Okay.
In various ways. And it's really interesting because it's like there's a section, the first section is milestones in children's literature, and it kind of goes through all of those and talks about different children's literature. And then it talks about how to read poetry, how to read children's literature, how to use it, which is really interesting.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then the last section is the biography that just is really detailed on everything. But I'd like to get into the poetry section first. And there's a lot of like 800 poems. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm sure there's a lot of good and useful items, poems to read. But we always got read to out of the poetry section called How Ridiculous. So
nice.
So the time for poetry is there's sections are all sorts of people, the animal fair, traveling we go, let's play, how ridiculous, magic and make believe, wind and water, round the clock, round the calendar, wisdom and beauty. So there's all these subsections, but we always got read through the how ridiculous. What's really interesting is this is children's literature, and the first section of this, the all sorts of people section, just some of the names. That of the poets. So it has Langston Hughes,
Oh, yeah.
It has Gwendolyn Brooks. It has Randall Jarrell. It has, these are like major poets.
Yeah.
Edna St. Vincent Millay, A. Milne, which is Winnie the Pooh's author, Phyllis McGinley. It's just interesting because Carl Sandburg, these are very major poets. They're not kids
Right.
William Blake. Anyway, they're not kids authors. They're not children's authors,
Right.
but they're in here because they're applicable and
Yeah.
it covers so much. Some of the sections are more fanciful than others,
Right.
obviously, but I'd like to read. I'm going to read several of these because they're shorter. Not the first ones aren't very short because it has some T.S. Eliot poems, which are the ones about the different cats
Right.
that the play Cats is based on. There's some from Mother Goose,
Okay.
which are just kind of a collective.
Yeah.
Then there's a bunch on different animals, and they're just kind of hilarious. There's probably gonna be a few of these just to show how the language works.
Right.
So first thing is there once was a puffin, and it once is underlined, which makes me concerned. By Florence Page Jocks. Anyway,
Okay.
and I might not read this whole one because it's a little bit longer, but what's interesting is it tells the thing, and then the way the poem is written, it kind of tails off. So it's just a bunch of where there's 3 lines, and then the lines indent for the next 4 lines, and every stanza is like that. But it says, "Oh, there once was a puffin, just the shape of a muffin, and he lived on an island in the bright blue sea." And so it's neat to see how that. So it's just it's showing you can write it differently, and it so in the bright blue sea is all each indented.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
then we'll get to some funnier ones. This is Ogden Nash. He's kind of a funny guy, and
Yeah.
I think he was popular at a time and kind of fell out of vogue. But The Octopus by Ogden Nash. "Tell me, O octopus, I begs, is those things arms or is they legs? I marvel at thee, O octopus. If I were thou, I'd call me us."
Nice.
And then this is one. It's just there's one about there's a couple like this, but I'm going to do this one first, called Grizzly Bear by Mary Austin.
Okay.
"If you ever meet a grizzly bear, you must never, never, never ask him where he is going or what he is doing. For if you ever dare to stop a grizzly bear, you will never meet another grizzly bear."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Poignant.
poignant. We will get to one that is I actually used for a school assignment too.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think we'll get to that. But we talked about, there's this one called, so there's a lot of animal ones, but and then we'll
Right.
get to some other non-animals. But so just the play on words, and I think it's really good because it introduces how to maybe read things in context, how to, the rhyme helps you come to the way of pronouncing a word that's not really a word. And so I'm just going to, it'll become clear, but Habits of the Hippopotamus by Arthur Guterman.
Okay.
So, the hippopotamus is strong and huge of head and broad of bustle. The limbs on which he rolls along are big with hippopotamuscle. He does not greatly care for sweets like ice cream, apple pie, or custard, but takes to flavor what he eats a little hippopotamustard. The hippopotamus is true to all his principles and just. He always tries his best to do the things one hippopotamus. He never rides in trucks or trams, in taxicabs or omnibuses, and so keeps out of traffic jams and other hippopotamuses. So these are good examples of playful words that you can playing around with the words, so you can. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of it is Jabberwocky.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if by Lewis Carroll. Have you ever heard that
Right.
one?
Yeah.
So, which is just the end of it. I'll just read that because
Okay.
it starts the same, but because there's just so many weird words in it. But it says,
Mm-hmm.
"O frabjous day, Callooh Clay, he trolled in his joy. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy where the boar grows and the mome wraths outgrabe." So I don't think there's very many words in there that you can define other than
Yeah.
some conjunctions.
Right.
Just it's a nonsense poem. And some of these are playing with some of the nonsense but making it a little bit clearer. But still
Right.
when you read Jabberwocky, even though it's nonsense, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I will read just to play around with words again. Ella Telephony by
Okay.
Laura E. Richards. Once there was an elephant who tried to use the telephone. No, I mean an elephant who tried to use the telephone. Dear me, I'm not certain quite that even now I've got it right. However it was, he got his trunk entangled in the telefunk. The more he tried to get it free, the louder buzzed the telefee. I fear I'd better drop the song of Elephop and Telefong. So that one's
Nice.
funny. Just saw this one, a centipede, so by Unknown. It says,
Okay.
but this is a mean one. It says, a centipede was happy quite until a frog in fun said, "Pray which leg comes after which?" This raised her mind to such a pitch, she lay distracted in a ditch, considering how to run. That's mean. Mean frog.
Mean. Yeah.
This one here is one my mom used to read that was it was kind of a spooky one.
Okay.
It's called The Spangled Pandemonium.
Mm.
And so some of these I'm including because you don't really think of these as in children's context that you would do something uncomfortable. And that's the thing I think I like best about this book because it does put good works in regardless of whether or not they're maybe what we would consider cleansed or politically correct or safe.
Right.
It's not, it's kind of reminds me of the Never-Ending Story when he's in there looking at the book. He goes, this book is not safe. He goes, all those other books, you can read them, you can imagine them, but when you close them, you're safe. This book isn't safe, and this book isn't safe. It's just good. It says, it's by Palmer Brown. It says, the Spangled Pandemonium is missing from the zoo. He bent the bars the barest bit and slithered glibly through. He crawled across the moated wall, he climbed the mango tree, and when his keeper scrambled up, he nipped him in the knee. To all of you a warning not to wander after dark, or if you must, make very sure you stay out of the park, for the Spangled Pandemonium is missing from the zoo. And since he nipped his keeper, he would just as soon nip you. But I like that alliteration with he bent the bars the barest bit is just awesome.
Really good.
There's another one called that is one that I used before, but I want to say there just a allusion to some that I remember.
Yeah.
First, there's one called Godfrey Gordon Gustaffer Gore.
Okay.
And this was the one that my mom would yell out because it starts Godfrey Gordon Gustaffer Gore. No doubt you have heard the name before, was a boy who never would shut the door. And so it was always about shutting the door. And so she'd go, Godfrey Gordon Gustaffer Gore, shut the door. So just to throw a Carl Sandburg in there. And this is, again, playing with, it's kind of like a more personal, like talking directly to you, but it's just really interesting because this is a poem, But it's called Fizzog by Carl Sandburg.
Okay.
This face you got, this here Fizzog you carry round, you never picked it out for yourself at all, did you? This here Fizzog, somebody handed it to you, am I right? Somebody said, here's yours, now go see what you can do with it. Somebody slipped it to you, and it was like a package marked, no goods exchanged after being taken away, this face you got. And I like the conversational nature of that.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's nice. But, so
It always
think, yeah.
it reminds me of I guess anytime I kind of think about faces,
Yeah.
I think about there's a Shin song that
Yeah.
I think it starts with something like you can fake it for a while, bite your tongue and smile like every mother does an ugly child.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Because Fazog kind of just sounds like a
Yeah.
kind of a dumpy face, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
I
kind
don't know
of
if
this
that's how he means it.
collection. Well, it's like facade and
Like
which
mug
is
or-
face, but yeah, fazog is kind of like this weird, collection. Puts it together in a certain way. It's funny.
Mhm.
It's just putting it together in interesting ways.
Yeah.
But all right, so I'll just a couple of funny ones. I'm not going to read the full thing, just some highlights of them. But one of them was this one called Mrs. Snipkin and Mrs. Wobblechin by Laura E. Richards, which was really funny because they, you can kind of picture them. And it says,
Yeah.
but it ends kind of funny. It says, skinny Mrs. Snipkin took her little pipkin, threw it straight across the room as hard as she could throw, hit Mrs. Wobblechin in her little double chin. Out of the window, a tumble she did go, which is kind of funny.
Right.
And then there's even one, just the title is funny because of who's in our family, but it's called Old Quinn Quiribus.
Oh yeah.
And it just talks about this guy who likes his garden so much he won't pick it. But
Okay.
I don't think my brother liked the fact that it said Quiribus. He's on the query bus.
Yeah.
It has your old Father William. I think I don't know if you know that one very well, but this guy keeps talking to old Father William saying, how can you do all these things like doing headstands and stuff? And he has these excuses for, like one of them is, you incessantly stand your head. Do you think your age is right? And he goes, in my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it might injure my brain, but now that I'm perfectly sure I've known why I do it again and again. And Lewis Carroll poems are just awesome.
Yeah. That's really fun.
This one I did and it kind of contributes to, maybe it's an early indicator of my love of rocks. Kind of came about because it mentions some different stones that I actually illustrated the stones. And then I used the names of these in a different poem I wrote about a witch with it. Anyway, but it's it's a really funny one. I like it.
Yeah.
It's called Mummy Slept Late and Daddy Fixed Breakfast by John Ciardi. Daddy fixed the breakfast. He made us each a waffle. It looked like gravel pudding. It tasted something awful. Ha ha, he said. I'll try again. This time I'll get it right. But what I got was in between bituminous and anthracite. A little too well done? Oh well, I'll have to start all over. That time what landed on my plate looked like a manhole cover. I tried to cut it with a fork. The fork gave off a spark. I tried a knife and twisted it into a question mark. I tried it with a hacksaw. I tried it with a torch. It didn't even make a dent. It didn't even scorch. The next time Dad gets breakfast when Mommy's sleeping late, I think I'll skip the waffles. I'd sooner eat the plate. So, but bituminous and anthracite, I looked them up and I used anthracite in a poem I wrote about a witch. And because it's like a clear crystal with a red tip on it. So it looked like, so I used it as, I described a witch as a nose of anthracite. So
Nice. Yeah.
anyway, and that was when I was about this like third, fourth grade, somewhere in there was when I did that. So
Nice.
This is funny. I think maybe this is the inspiration of I didn't want to be a bad cook. So
Yeah.
but then there's a poem in here that really meant a lot to me, or was significant in my youth, because in high school I lettered in forensics, but not that kind of forensics.
Yeah.
It was forensic speech and debate, and I
Nice.
competed in poetry. So you'd find a poem and read it.
Yeah.
But
Do you usually, if you mention doing forensics, do you usually say it like that, like forensics, but not that one?
yeah, I usually have to because it's not well known. It's kind of like you have to say, I went to a thespian conference, and you
Yeah,
have to be very
right.
careful when you say that. Like acting. So, I always have to kind of explain it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and it was the poem that I performed throughout I think it was my senior year.
Okay.
I don't know. But what was funny is I got to a competition and somebody else had picked it too.
Right.
And I thought I was doing a good job. But this
Hmm.
kid turned into a grizzled old miner and recited the poem. Plus,
Wow.
yeah, he was good. And then plus
Hmm.
I had typed it because I had to copy it out of the book and type it out on
Yeah.
separate cards to present it. I typed it out and I missed a stanza.
Oh no. Oh
And
no.
so his was even creepier than mine because that was the section that says the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky, talked about grisly fear and I skipped this like I skipped half of one stanza, half of another stanza, and squeezed them
Oh no.
together and so it made sense, but it was really bad
Yeah.
that I
Oh
missed
no.
that. If you've never read The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service, he's very great poet. It's from like 1916. Okay, so
Oh wow. Yeah.
and it's all about kind of the Alaskan gold rush type of outdoorsy stuff, kind of like Jack London with
Hmm.
all the to build a fire and all that kind of
Yeah.
era. He's that too.
Okay.
But I'll just tell you the opening stanza is also the closing stanza, but it says it goes, there are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge I cremated Sam McGee.
Hmm.
And it goes on to tell the story of Sam McGee from Tennessee, and he got cold
Nice.
and he knew he felt like he was gonna die. And so
Yeah.
he made the guy promise to cremate him. And so he says, I promise. And it says here, a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And then Sam McGee dies, so he straps the corpse to the sled and carries it until he finds a place to cremate him. So
Nice.
he finally
Yeah.
does, and he goes, so he stuffs him in, cooks him, and says, maybe I should go check. And it says, he opens the door, it says, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he says, please close that door. It's fine here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. So
Wow.
creepy
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
kid's book, right? But I
Right.
loved this when my dad would read this often.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Nice.
just an interesting journey what this book is and how
Yeah.
it doesn't talk down to children,
Right.
and it makes it fun for the adults to. It's kind of like the Looney Tunes, right? Looney Tunes are
Right.
fun to watch for
Right.
kids and adults because they don't talk down to you. They just do what they're going to do, and there's parts for younger kids and there's parts for adults, and they can all sit there and do it together.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Have you met a lot of people from Tennessee? Because it seems like if they can make their name rhyme with Tennessee in some way, they'll do it. Like there's this old guy who comes into the bank and
Yeah.
he's always like, "I'm Billy B from Tennessee."
Yeah, we met our share when we were in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. we have factory in Tennessee. Tennessee's a weird place, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it meant a lot more after growing up with that poem and then actually going to Tennessee. I'm like, you guys do get snow there. So anyway, but and then again, it continues on with. It's interesting. It has an excerpt from "Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock" too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says the yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on the window panes. It's just that little excerpt there about the cat in the October night. So I'm like, and that is kind of typical of, or is an example of what this does. Because when you get into the fiction, it will give a chapter of a book, and so you get to see the style.
Yeah.
So that's good, and it even has let's see, this one T.S. Eliot is from Four Quartets, and it has James Joyce.
Oh, right.
Poems by James Joyce, which I didn't know existed.
Right.
So it's just neat. It's good stuff. The poetry section is really extensive, and that's good.
Yeah.
And a nice variety. It's good education. All different kinds of poems. I know I kind of focused on the silly ones, but those are the ones we got to hear a lot of the time.
The ones that made the biggest impact.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but there's Robert Frost in here.
Nice.
Just as an aside, I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but I went to New Hampshire one time.
Okay.
And the area of New Hampshire that I went to happened to be, I knew Walden Pond was there.
Oh, yeah.
So thought I'd go by, but then I was looking around, and also Robert Frost's farm was even closer. It was almost like 10 minutes away from where I was staying.
Oh, wow.
It was winter, so it was closed, and it was snowy, but I had a Subaru with all-wheel drive, and so I drove into the parking lot and had the place to myself, and it was just a series of looking at different things and going, there's a Robert Frost. Okay, there's birches, there's the mending wall, there's stopping by the woods in a snowy evening.
Right.
Just personified, right?
Yeah.
So that was...
Is that the farm he always lived at, or bought it later in life? Or?
I think it said something like his summer farm or something like that.
Okay.
But it was definitely... Well, and that's funny because I thought it might be in here, but stopping by the woods on a snowy evening is in here. So it has a good variety of different types. It's just a really good collection. That's what it comes down to.
Nice.
And then we get into more prose.
Okay.
And so this section is section 2. So old magic is the folk tales. Old moralities is fables.
Okay.
Then they have gods and men, which are myths. And man, the hero, which are the epics. So the Odyssey,
right,
while it has myth, it's more of an epic,
right?
Because it's the man is the hero. Has the animal fair, the magic toy shelf, all sorts of people. How ridiculous again. Lands of enchantment, strange journeys, earth, sea, and stars. So there's a good variety. And the first part of this is the folk tales, and they're divided up by countries.
Oh.
So, and so that's neat. But one in particular, and this is the one that got read to us a lot, or got read to me a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So it's the one here under Great Britain is the story of the three bears.
Okay.
And I'll just read the introduction here because it's kind of funny because in this, they also give little notes about the stories and how you might want to use them or their history. So this version of The Three Bears is from the tale as originally written by Robert Southey, 1774 to 1843.
Okay.
Although the version by Flora Annie Steele remains the better known, the Southey original has a saucy saucy verb, which, after more than a century since its first appearance, is refreshing. Here is an example of an authored story which was taken into an oral tradition. You may prefer to substitute the more universally known Goldilocks for the old woman, and to eliminate the remark about sending her to the House of Corrections. So
awesome.
So it starts off the same way. It says, once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in the woods. There's the little small wee bear, the middle-sized bear, and the great huge bear. And the same thing happens. It talks about they have each had a chair to sit in. It says a little chair for the little, it does that whole thing. Little chair for the little small wee bear, middle chair. So, and then one day they had made porridge. It was too hot. So they decided to go for a walk in the woods while the porridge cooled. And
nice.
Same, but this is where it starts to get a little saucy. And while they were walking, a little old woman came to the house. She could not have been a good, honest old woman, for first she looked in at the window, and then she peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing nobody in the house, she lifted the latch. The door was not fastened because the bears were good bears who did nobody any harm and never suspected that anybody would harm them. So the little woman opened the door and went in. And she was pleased to find the porridge, tried the different ones. And it says, if she had been a good little old woman, she would have waited till the bears came home, and then perhaps they would have asked her to breakfast, for they were good bears.
Yeah.
A little rough or so, as the manner of bears is, but for all that very good-natured and hospitable. But she was an impudent, bad old woman, and set about helping herself.
Yeah. Wow.
And then it's the first line of the next where it starts about her eating. It says it's the same. It's just even saucier. It says, so first she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, and that was too hot for her, and she said a bad word about that. And the mill was too cold for her, and she said a bad word about that. And then even though the little one was just fine, there wasn't enough of it, so she said a bad word about that too.
Nice.
And same with the chairs. One broke, bottom came out. And it says, and the naughty old woman said a wicked word about that too. And then went upstairs. And then all of a sudden, she goes upstairs and covered herself up, went to sleep. And then they come home and they make all the discoveries that are very similar. Somebody's been lying in my bed. And then finally it's the little small wee bear. And it says, somebody's been lying in my bed. And here she is, said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. And the reason he goes, it says, and when the little small bear came to look at his bed, there was the bolster in its place, and the pillow in its place upon the bolster. And upon the pillow was the little old woman's ugly, dirty head, which was not in its place, for she had no business being there. And then it says, and this is how it ends, which is hilarious. The little woman had heard in her sleep the great gruff voice of the great huge bear, but was so fast asleep there was no more to her than the roaring of wind or the rumble of thunder. And she had heard the middle voice of the mill bear, but it was only as if she had heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill that it awakened her at once. Up she started. And when she saw the three bears on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself out the other and ran to the window. Now, the windows were was open because the bears, like good tidy bears as they were, always opened their bed chamber windows when they got up in the morning. Out the little old woman jumped, and whether she broke her neck in the fall, or ran to the woods and was lost there, or found her way out of the wood and was taken up by the constable and sent to the house of corrections for the vagrant that she was, I cannot tell. The three bears never saw her anything more of her. So that's the original, and and it's hilarious.
Awesome.
And it's kind of like if you read Grimm's fairy tales they're more original ones. They're a lot darker.
Right. Yeah.
And it's nice to know that people have a good sense of humor then.
Right.
But it has all the classics. It has the Three Little Pigs. It has the Little Red Hen, where she's like, well, I'll do it. And those ones are funny because the Little Red Hen, and they have the names of the different animals.
Right.
They're so funny. Let's see. And they met Foxy Woxy and said to Henny Penny, Cocky Lucky, Ducky Dells, Goosey Poosey, Turkey Lurkey. Just funny names. And Foxy Woxy. But we used to say that a lot because my grandma's name was Roxy. So it was Foxy Roxy.
Right.
and it goes many different countries. This is Great Britain. It goes to Scottish. It goes to a bunch of different ones. But anyway, there's another one in here that was, I think my dad he'd read it to try and see if we would stay awake, I think.
Yeah.
Because it is more lengthy than most of these.
Okay.
And it's called, let me get to the right country. It's called East of the Sun, West of the Moon.
Oh, okay.
It says it's Norwegian. It says it's the story which is Cupid and Psyche in Norse dress might well be a fragment of an ancient myth, with the polar bear an obvious symbol of winter in a northern country. The tale is also pure romance and fulfills the usual desires for food, warmth, luxury, security, and love.
Nice.
Basically, what happens is this bear comes, the polar bear comes, and says, will you give me your youngest daughter? If you will, I'll make you rich. And then says, sure. And but it turns out that it's kind of interesting. It says here, he says she hid and saw him. He says because he's not really a bear, he's a prince.
Okay.
Because says, what have you done? He cried. Now you have made us both unlucky. For had you held out only this 1 year, and I think he said hold out 1 year, and she just short of a year peaked.
Okay.
And so if you held out this 1 year, I had been freed. For I have a stepmother who has bewitched me, so that I am a white bear by day and a man by night. But now all ties are snapped between us. Now I must set off from you to her. She lives in a castle which is east of the sun and west of the moon. And there too is a princess with a nose 3 ells long, and she's the wife I must have now. So she goes on a journey to find the castle that's east of the sun and west of the moon. And it's still going. It's like, we'll call each column a page. So it's 11 pages.
Wow.
We'll say.
Pretty good.
So it's the journey of how she tries and saves him or.
Yeah.
It says, and as for the prince and princess, they set free all the folk who had been carried off and shut up there. I guess they were captive in the castle. And they took with them all the silver and gold and flitted away as far as they could from the castle that lay east of the sun, west of the moon.
Nice.
So it's just, I really enjoyed it every time you read it, and you read it a few times, and it was neat.
That's cool.
Yeah. And there's a lot other
cool imagery too.
Yeah.
East of the sun, west of the moon.
Yep, exactly. And so I kind of think about that every time. So east of the sun would be the sun's up in the evening, right?
Yeah.
And the moon is also up. So that happens.
Yeah.
But they had to find, a place where that was always the condition, I guess. So I don't know if the castle came and went or, things like that. So has Midas Midas Touch. It has a bunch of Norse tales. It's really good
Yeah.
because it covers all the major kind of stories that everybody should know.
Right.
So, and that's neat stuff. And so then Lands of Enchantment. Let's see where the how ridiculous comes in. Let's see what kind of ridiculous tales they have.
Sweet. Sounds good.
There's so many. It's a very large book, as you can tell. And they're really thin, kind of onion paper pages too.
Oh,
so, for the introduction to How Ridiculous, it says, "Laugh and be well, a 17th century writer once advised, as a cure for spleen."
Here for having one.
You know. But life certainly does have a ridiculous aspect, and man's sense of the comic draws upon it continually. In Zen philosophy and teaching, the most profound moments and problems suddenly flash forth with a kind of divine humor. Surely the gods know the best laughter of all, although the gods rarely laugh in public. But men laugh, and children's books reflect that laughter in all its varieties, whether broad or subtle. So you even get some kind of philosophy here.
Right.
Not all the selections in this section are wildly funny. They may merely engender deep amusement, as does. So it's naming some of these stories, and I think I found these independent of this book, which is really funny. I wish I'd known, but the Pushcart War is one of them.
Oh.
Which I read when I was a kid. It's about, they have push carts in New York.
Okay.
That have it's like street vendors.
Yeah.
They push their carts around. And then in this scenario, the delivery trucks are oversized, and they're endangering the push cart people. And so they come up with a way of, they take a needle and push it into a pea and shoot it through a straw into the tires of the big trucks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a fun book. Some of the ones in this section are, they're just fun.
Yeah.
And the other one was Lloyd Alexander and his Peridian cycle of fantasy books. I think there's 5 of them, and I love those.
Yeah.
There's Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen. There's Mr. Popper's Penguins. There's an excerpt from that, which was Jim Carrey did a movie of Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Yeah.
So that, another good one. And then where was it? There's one from Ben and Me. Do you know what that is?
I don't think so.
So Ben and Me, they did a cartoon of this back in, I don't know when the cartoon was, 60s or 70s.
Okay.
But it's this little mouse who lives in the workshop of Ben Franklin.
Oh, okay.
So it's Ben Franklin and this little mouse, and they talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the Pushcart War, says, at first one might wonder why this book is thought of as fantasy. It seems so very ordinary in its setting. New York City, in 1976, which is interesting. So that's futuristic.
Yeah.
At this time.
That's funny.
Because the Pushcart War was written in 1964.
Huh.
So it says, but just as in 1776, a small nation defied a growing empire, so in 1976, the much harassed pushcart peddlers fight the big trucks for their independence and livelihood. What follows is a mild satire for young people about several aspects of urban life.
Wow.
So the account of Mr. Jerusalem's blow for liberty is one of its best moments. So the first one is the pea shooter campaign is the chapter they give you.
Oh,
but I didn't realize that it's kind of a sci-fi, right?
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
I just read it as what it was, that is in the past.
Yeah.
And at the time it was, but I didn't realize it was future looking.
Does it read funny. Like it is? I mean, it's only like 10 years in the future, I guess.
The fact that the trucks are super oversized.
Oh, okay.
Like they're huge. They're not just delivery trucks. So the way they're described in the book is that they're massive. So that's why this is kind of like trucks are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just kind of extrapolates a future where there's just huge trucks that push everybody out of the way.
Because I was kind of picturing like, hot dog carts versus like food trucks here.
Yeah, kind of, but this
they're
is
huge.
more extreme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange Journeys has Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay. Yeah.
And then a bunch of other ones. This I'm sure has Alice in Wonderland, and so,
Right.
Anyway,
Nice.
things of that nature. So that's good. That's an enjoyable thing. What is interesting is when we get to the end here, in part 4. Like I said, it shows some of the significant new children's literature,
Right.
and then it talks about the Caldecott and Newbery Award winners.
Okay. Yeah.
So we were talking. I don't think you had much experience with those. But,
yeah. I don't know Caldecott, but I remember in school, I feel like we would always read the new like Newbery Award winner. Like that.
Yeah.
It seemed like something that was always relevant or a part of school.
Yeah, because and that makes sense. Newbery is it's been given out since 1922.
Jeez.
And it's named for John Newbery, the first English publisher of books for children,
Okay.
apparently, and it's the most distinguished American children's book.
Wow.
So that's for the writing.
Yeah.
And then the Caldecott started in 1938, and it's named for Randolph Caldecott, who is an English illustrator. So it's for the pictures. And so things like Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are, won the Caldecott.
Right.
Whereas Lloyd Alexander won the Newbery for his books, or the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, which is a really fun book. Those kind of stories were the ones that where they're more of a story.
Right.
And then it even has one on here that was really popular when I was in school, called, by a Russian author, The Fool of the World and the Flying Ship. So
Yeah.
my third grade teacher, Mrs. Creel, I don't remember any of my teachers' names, but I know her name. So it was a significant year.
Yeah.
We put together books that year.
Okay.
So all of our assignments and stuff that were of a certain type collected together, and we made books, and we sewed the spines and everything.
Yeah.
And myself and a friend of mine both did illustrations, and so people had a choice between one or the other of our illustrations to be the cover.
Oh.
So I did I did Frodo and Sam and Mount Doom.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, but I was in third grade, so the mountain looks cool, but the people are a little bit
rough.
But I did it. And my Christmas poem, I have the original in my book, but everybody else has a copy of it in theirs.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. But the reason I mentioned that is she had been to a lot of different places. So we did a unit on Mexico and she'd been to Mexico. And so that was where I first tried cactus.
Oh, yeah.
So she brought in cactus. And I loved it. Like the
Napolitos.
Napoli's. A little jar of that, and it was great.
Yeah,
loved it. And then and kind of the Mexican style of hot cocoa that's more,
a little spice.
And so that was fun.
Yeah.
And then we did some other ones, but we did Russia.
Okay.
And she had been to Russia.
Nice.
And it was during the 50th anniversary of communism or something. So probably back in the 60s or something. I don't know how long ago, but
that all lines up.
Yeah. And so we did St. Basil's Cathedral. We talked a lot about that, and she had pictures of it, and it was just amazing.
Wow.
And told stories about how, they said we were pretty safe, but we came back one time, and our hotel room had been obviously opened, and the only thing missing was somebody had brought a Bible. So that was interesting. Kind of gave us a flavor, but we studied the Fool of the World and the Flying Ship during that. So
yeah,
it made an impression.
Right.
And she was a important teacher in my development.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I remember in high school in my Spanish class, I think we had like a meal day.
Yeah.
And I brought in quinoa.
Yeah.
And my teacher was like, how did you even know about this? Like,
yeah.
It's like it's just, or like, how did you make this? Like, it's incredible. It's like I think I just boiled it for a little while.
I do remember you telling us about how taken with it she was.
Yeah.
How'd you even do this? And we're like, it's like rice.
Yeah.
You just cook it. But we had a little bit of flavor in it because your mom puts a little bit of a little bit extra in it.
Do you remember if your cover won for the book cover?
Well, both of us won, so you could pick one or the other. So,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we were the two that did covers, and actually, I was gonna pick his, and he picked mine, but I put mine, and he put his on his.
Yeah.
So I still have the book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's in my keepsake box.
Yeah.
It's fun. I will tell you that I have a drawing that was for like, Presidential Fitness Day or something, a field day that we had to do different activities and draw pictures of them. A little poster that's in that book.
Oh.
And what's interesting about that is it foretold my future.
Okay.
So we lived in Gresham.
Mm-hmm.
So on the back of it, I had my name and address.
Oh, okay.
So we lived on Marie Street.
Yeah.
I misspelled it.
Yeah.
Murray.
Ah.
Exactly like your mom's middle name.
Wow.
Like the exact spelling, which is a weird name, and I misspelled it exactly the same as her middle name.
That's funny. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's that when we saw that, we're like, what? It was meant to be.
I think I said, I'm sure I said this to Vern at some point, but like when I was in college, I had the feeling that I would marry somebody whose name started with an S.
Okay.
And I didn't really have any reason to think that, but I think it's funny how it worked out with Chloe. It's not an S, but her last name is Stever.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. It
was close.
No, well, it's always interesting when I think coincidences happen, but maybe they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing the coincidence of it is important in keeping wonder in your life. And something around that. Yeah, that's really neat. That's really good. And I think it draws you closer together. Yeah. It's a good thing.
It's cool.
So just to get back, it is a textbook,
right?
Supposedly, but what's great about it is there's a lot of these little essays in the back. There's a long section that talks about all the different sounds and how poems are written, and it refers back to the poems in the book and casting of poems, how the speech. It kind of has diagrams about everything. Yeah. And so it's a very, it's a huge breakdown of poems and how they, it calls them verse choirs. And so that's really cool. It has a whole thing on speaking poetry together. Mm-hmm. So all that. But the section I really like is bringing children back to poetry.
Hmm.
And I'll just read it says, it is not difficult to get younger children interested in poetry and to keep them interested as they grow up. It is a different matter with children in the middle and upper grades who have grown to dislike poetry. Bringing them back to poetry may not be easy, but is not as difficult as it may seem. And the results will certainly justify the efforts. And so that's interesting, thesis. And then it says the
Really
first
cool.
way is through skillful selection of poems, which all the previous stuff has kind of prepped you for.
Right.
And then it says there's 2 types of poetry that rouse genuine enthusiasm. Like, okay.
Okay.
One is narrative poetry and the other is humorous or light verse. So obviously, maybe my parents read that because we did both.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, in this section, the cremation of Sam McGee is named as, it says, another avenue for bringing the reluctant back to poetry is humorous or light verse.
Mm-hmm.
And so cremation of Sam McGee is the example.
Wow.
Yeah, but it kind of fills both. It has the narrative and the humor.
Yeah.
So
when you were going through your degree, did you have a specific class about reading poetry, or was it just kind of always mixed in? Or
yeah, it was. So I don't know that they teach how to read poetry anymore. Like at the college level, they expect you to have, especially in that degree, you read it how you read it. And there is different ways of reading poems. And we've kind of talked about this before. There's styles where you just read sort of monotone and you let the words be the words.
Right.
Or you can be expressive. And I was always in the minority because I wrote humorously. I read it expressively.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. I think they tried to indoctrinate us into a certain way of reading. One of my teachers was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Not young, just younger than some of the other staff, maybe by 15 years.
Oh, okay.
So she was I may have been older than her because I was older when I was, or about the same age, which is kind of funny. But
yeah.
So she may have been 40-ish. And she read in that bland style, and she did, like, her book of poetry that she had done was all these poems that used like trigonometry equations to relate to the relationship between people, and did it like it was a math problem.
Okay.
So it was a gimmick, whatever.
Yeah.
But some published poets would show up when we go to the readings.
Yeah.
And they'd read in a certain way.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like Louise Gluck so much.
So I'm just wondering if the advice in this book tracks with any advice you got in college. I'm sure it's different for reading to kids, but
it doesn't. It's not advice I got in college. It's advice I've heard elsewhere for reading aloud and storytelling. Okay. So this really speaks more to reading to children and storytelling than it does to adult performance of poetry.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
So that is really good.
Mm.
So it gives all those things, and it's really fun to see the advice. And then the next section is telling stories and reading aloud, and it's really cool because it breaks it down by how you use it at school, how you use it in the home, how at the library, how to make a selection of poetry.
Yeah.
And how to prepare, and your voice and diction and gesture and pacing and presentation of reading, of just reading out loud. And so it's this whole primer of many pages about that whole, in school it's like this, and if you're at the library, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
To know that this exists, and it's so unencumbered by it's not very self-conscious. It's very open and treats reading to others as natural and acceptable.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good. And then just the bibliography is cool because it, for a lot of these authors that it has, it will mention other books that they've written. So,
Yeah.
and not all the books they've written. Some of them you just would take too long, but they do mention who they were. Kind of gives an explanation. It's kind of an expansive bibliography. So that's
Nice.
neat.
Yeah.
Has a pronouncing guide too, somewhere in
cool.
here. So it's a very, very, very complete, extensive
Thoroughly
book.
researched. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding stuff just in this review that I knew of, but I didn't know was in here.
yeah.
Which is, it just tells you how big it is. It kind of reminds me, I bought a 1001 folk songs,
Oh, yeah.
and it was I don't remember what it's called. Basically, just gives the lyrics and the chords, but not
Right.
together. Like the chords
Oh.
are, and so you just have
Separate.
this. Yeah, you just have a little square that's the whole song, and so in a very short book, very thin book, you had 1,000 folk songs.
Crazy.
And it's always fun. I hear a new one I hear a new folk song that's obviously old. I'll go, and most of the time it's in there.
Oh,
I just didn't know it.
That's cool.
And it's kind of like this book. So
Yeah. I wanted to do that before. Like, we were at Memory Den in Portland here, and they have their like vintage book library section, and I thought it'd be fun to like look through. They have some like old music books, and be fun to look through those and see what kind of songs are in there, and
yeah,
see if there's anything worthy of ripping off or something.
yeah, yeah. And there's even fake books is what they call them, where they
like the
simplify
ones.
things. Yeah, those are always fun, but it's neat. I like the exposure of this. I like how much it has a very primary place in my memory.
Yeah.
And so I suggest, I encourage people to go try and find this. There's different versions of this, different editions. The one I have has a huge it's kind of an orange cover. It has a huge butterfly on it with who's reading to some. It's kind of frightening, actually. It's a large butterfly with glasses on, with all its legs grasping a clutch of children and reading to them, but they're also in the air. So I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. I never realized kind of how creepy that is.
The implications.
Yeah, like you better keep them entertained and distracted, because if they wiggle,
Yeah.
they're
Or
dead.
if someone doesn't like a story,
Yeah.
you just loose an arm and
Yeah. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. More kids than arms. Six arms and 7 kids.
sounds like an OSHA violation.
Yeah, and 2 of the arms are holding the book open. So, yeah. I'm concerned now. Maybe I don't recommend this book. No, I really do. I think it's good to have a little bit of fear in your life. So.
Yeah.
I think I have a greater fear of sanitization than I do of a little bit of fear.
Yeah. Right.
And this book is definitely not sanitized. Okay. It is what it is. I mean, it has some, granted, the poem is written by Langston Hughes, but it does have the N word in the title.
Wow.
Not the derogatory one, the older term.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not the bad 6-letter word, the problematic 5-letter word.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's, I mean, it was written by Langston Hughes, so at least it's not too problematic.
Yeah.
Because he can use that word.
Right.
The fact that, like, I was introduced to Uncle Remus in this too, and
Oh, yeah.
I think it's valuable because it is interesting to see something written in dialect. but I
Right.
know that it carries some burdens of diminishing the intelligence of slaves, of, as
Yeah.
a portrayal of slaves. He is the holder of wisdom,
Yeah.
but
But
the but it's also minstrel. It's a
right.
minstrel show of a writing, and so you're like, ah, even if you're the hero, but they're not it's not really a minstrel show because it's not making fun of Uncle Remus.
Uh-huh.
He is the most knowledgeable, the deepest knowledge. So I think there's at least some respect there as opposed to a minstrel show.
Right.
So,
Awesome.
but yeah,
Yeah, I think it's great. I think, like I have said, I really appreciate good kids content,
yeah,
and especially like good kids music.
yeah,
That's something I liked like about Chloe's, that we listened to the Bare Naked Ladies
yeah,
kids music album, and she enjoys it. Like she really likes the popcorn song.
yeah. I
Um,
like them. I like the They Might Be Giants, and
yeah,
uh,
they have a lot.
they have a lot. Yeah,
They
and
just have a
then
lot of albums in general.
what was the one I mentioned? I found we listened to we listened to
The guy who's the
yeah. So the
singer.
guy who is the lead singer of the Presidency of the United States of America has now turned into a kids music guy, and his name is it's Casper Baby Pants. But
Nice.
it had come up somehow in a mix or something. I don't know where I found it, but
Mhm.
we listened to the first album. There's like 18 of them, something ridiculous like that. He's got a lot of albums.
Yeah.
But oh no, there's a documentary on him
Oh,
on HBO. I keep forgetting that. That's
okay.
why.
Yeah.
A documentary just came out, and it's like, you look like the guy from. Oh, you are the guy from. And
That's cool.
yeah,
So he's
so
still doing with the 2-string bass and
yeah, I think he's moved. Yeah, I think he's moved on to a wider variety of instruments, but still his aesthetic, because they did some funny little songs that were about like bugs and
Mhm.
weird. They did funny songs
Right.
even when they were serious, and all of these are kind of all the ones on the album were quite enjoyable. So
Nice.
and again, not sanitized.
Yeah.
They were just what they were. They weren't raunchy, but they also weren't boring.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I really liked it. It's kind of funny. There's like the first album's 22 songs in 46 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So
That's cool.
technically it's a punk album. No.
Yeah. I was thinking.
So yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate Rafi was one that we listened to. The whole Baby Beluga, those other ones, and Peter, Paul, and Mary had a couple of kids albums. So
Right.
all of them made it more enjoyable to listen to stuff with you. And now we get in the car and they play like the Disney playlist on Spotify, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what do you think?
I think it's great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it would be interesting if you found a different edition. Oh, and I didn't mention she passed away in, I think, 68, but she was working on it up until she passed.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
she was in her 80s and still very much a part of this book, and
Right.
I'm grateful that it's there. It was kind of a mystery when I was younger about what it was. I didn't do any research into who put it together. I thought it just existed, and so
Right.
it's nice to know that there's somebody behind it, that they had a passion for it, they were educated in it,
Definitely.
and it's just a great volume. All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, and maybe we can break the illusion that I had to do it again.
Yeah.
My computer restarted and I lost my recording.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered most of the same stuff,
Yeah.
and I was able to add one. I added a couple and took out a couple, and which I think have been a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do this more often.
We should mess up more often.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
Well, good. So next week is our
A wrap up.
wrap up. I got to go back and see what I have to review.
Yeah. A lot from me this time.
Yeah.
I guess
And then-
you technically have more. 1,000 works.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to review every single thing.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to take a 6-month break
Right.
to all of us catch up. Well, thanks, Max. I'm off to get some rest and think of future plans.
Sweet. Well,
right.
thanks to everyone listening and
Yeah.
appreciate it. And we'll be back next week with a roundup. And
Yeah, roundup. It'll be fun.
sounds good.
All right. Get better. Feel better.
Yes. Thank you.
And be better. I don't know.
I'll try.
And have a great week, Max.
Thanks. You too.
All right.
Bye.